people on the outside, they really don't even care about you. You know what I'm saying? So, you got to live this life on your own. You got to, man up, uh, and do what's right, stay out of the system, because it is nothing good. It's not. It's nothing good.
You hear that, kids? When you're locked up, ain't nobody on the outside checking for you. You got all of your homies out here, right? All your boys, your ride or die homies, man. That's my dog. We going down for life, blah, blah, blah. Once you're locked up, ain't nobody calling you, right?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And they say that people that got mail, got something in the mail. They called mail love.
Wow.
Like, I got
Wow.
love, getting and for a long time I didn't get any mail, so I was kind of like, damn, But anyway, uh, but it ain't the place to be, y'all. It ain't the place to be. Uh, so yeah, but I've been out for a while, so I got my life right finally. Got a good, decent job. I'm working the 40 hours a week. I got my money. I got my own apartment. And I got my own stuff. And think about this: when you go to prison, whatever it is that you have in your house or apartment,
Oh,
don't even think about none of that.
damn.
You know, yeah, don't
Didn't
even
even
think
think
about
of
none of
that.
that. Right? And you get your little possessions in prison. And one more thing, I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep
Nah,
you here, but
please take your time. I love this conversation. I'm in no rush.
so when every now and then they'll have these shakedowns, and so at some point I had a bunch of stuff, and then they're like, hey, well, here's these two big plastic bags here, trash bags. Put all your stuff in there. Take your mattress. Take your sheets off your mattress, and go to the gym. So we'd have to take all our worldly possessions that we had to the gym, and then they would go through your stuff and tell you what you can and can't have. And a lot of times I would have, by the time it was all said and done, I'd have about 3/4 worth of the stuff that I actually had. So they're going in there, going through my shit, telling me what I can and can't have. And I told this one CEO, I said, what would it be like for you if somebody came into your house and shook your house down and told you what you can and can't have? And one of the CEOs was like, hey, well, they can't do that. I'm the CEO.
Wow.
But he just didn't understand. He didn't understand where I was coming from. And, so the stuff that I did have, it was precious to me. And, and then they tell me that, I can't have this book because it's half torn up. I can't have my little Walkman because it looks like it was altered. My serial number, and my name and inmate number were scratched off, and they called that stuff contraband. So they take my stuff, dude. And so then I had to work hard to get enough money to buy another Walkman. Are you serious? But anyway,
Damn.
it's But anyway, but yeah, they'll even strip you down. In fact, they'll have you stand in your cell, face the wall, take your clothes off, squat down and cough, and you got these people looking at your ass and shit like that. Anyway, lift your nuts. Make sure you ain't got nothing under you, nothing that you're not hiding stuff, and then tell you to go to the gym with your stuff, only wearing boxers and your shower shoes, and then you go in there, you put your stuff down. They tell you to go sit over there by the wall, face the wall, no talking. That kind of thing while they went through or while they were going through other people's stuff. And then they would call you over and have you take out all your stuff. They won't take it out. They wanted you to do it. So you put all your stuff there on the table and don't have contraband because they'll write you up for that. And then what? As you say, as I said earlier, what are they going to do? Lock me up? Yeah, they sure did. When I say lock you up, that meant seg. And then of course you had to have the hearing, and you get sentenced to extra time, or they take stuff from you. You can't have no visits for a month, no phone calls for an undetermined amount of time. So it's just like, and then now here's the thing, they'll come into the pod and they're like, all right, lock it down, da 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 da, and so we'd all have to lock it down. And then at some point, maybe an hour or so later, whenever they started coming through, asked them, "Hey, what happened? Why are we locked down?" I don't know. They knew. And so this particular lockdown, when I asked the cop that, we ended up, it was a statewide lockdown, as a matter of fact.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and so what they were doing were these shakedowns in all these prisons. So we had to be locked down for a minute, only being able to come out to take a shower every 3 days. They slide your food under the door, or they'll bring it into the pod, and everybody's got to come out of the pod and stand in a line. And that was almost like freedom in and of itself, because, we're just standing in a line waiting to get our food, and we're chopping it up with our homies and whatnot, trying to catch up on, what was going on and this and that. And then we get our food and we go back to the cell. And stay in the cell, hours will go by. And again, like, hey, how long we going to be in lockdown? I don't know. But I'm telling you, having to go through that madness, it's like a violation of a sort. So I kind of, at some point, I kind of understood what a lot of women go through when they're, when they're abused by their husbands, boyfriends, or raped, or this and that. And they always talked about being violated, and I didn't really snap to that too much until I started having these massive shakedowns when they come in and they take all my stuff. I felt like I was violated, and at some point, I had such I had PTSD. I had a bunch of different things going on, and to add this to it, it was hard, man. I'm telling you, it was hard to have to go through that, and then have to do it every 6 months. So so after a while, I was kind of numb to the whole thing at some point. But still, that didn't take away from the fact of feeling violated. It's nothing good, man. They go in there, they take all your stuff. It's not good, dude. It's not.
Listen up, kids. Listen up. This man is telling you straight from his mouth. He had to go through it. Let me ask you before we head out, because it sounds like you wouldn't mind sharing your thoughts on this as well. Let's go into a bigger scheme of things. Do you see prison as modern day slavery?
Yes.
That's
a big yes. It is, because so they would come into the pod 3-4 o'clock in the morning in the wintertime, and like work detail. I'm like, what's this about? So they get half the people out of the pod, and they would take us to certain areas. Like this one prison, it had snowed really bad, a lot of ice and whatnot, and they give us these shovels and have us breaking up ice, shoveling snow and this and that. But what was fucked up about it was this, we did all this in the administrative part of the prison. They wanted the sidewalks cleared off, so, people coming to visit their family, they won't slip and fall and whatnot. But they'd have us out there at 3 a.m. breaking up ice and shoveling. And then other times they would take us to certain parts of the prison to get this, rake rocks. What?
What?
Yeah, they wanted us to rake the rocks. They wanted us to take a shovel. I'm not a shovel. What the hell is it called? Anyways, basically, yeah, they want us to take this tool and draw lines, straight lines from one end all the way down to the other end. A bunch of straight lines through the rock. They wanted the rocks to look pretty.
Wow.
They would have us go out to pull weeds. And I started noticing that we were going to the same places over and over and over again. So I was like, what are they doing? Are they like planting weeds just so we can go out there and pull weeds? But we would do that for hours, and it's hot as hell out there. And, they give you a little bottle of water. You'd be working for 3-4 hours. Then they bring you something to eat. You can kind of sit back and relax for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And just breathe. And then, we eat, and then we're back to work, pulling more weeds. And a lot of these weeds were in these rocks that they wanted us to rake. I thought they was doing that mess on purpose. That was how I looked at it, because they wanted us, they just really wanted to humiliate us and just break up the routine and whatnot. Because I hated having to go out for work detail. I hated it, but I had to do it. I didn't have a choice. It was either do that or go to SIG, and so I just kind of conformed to the program and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, like I said, they'll come in at all odd hours of the day to have you do this mess. And a lot of it was overnight sometimes, as far as like in the wintertime when we were shoveling and breaking up ice. But, and it's cold as hell outside. We got this thin ass coat that we had to wear, it didn't keep us warm, none of that. But, it's like I said, you had to do it or go to SAG. So it's like, which is better. So, I had to conform. But, yeah, it's crazy.
Man, Robert, I really appreciate you sharing your story with my audience, and I guarantee you've deterred. You will. This video is going to be around forever when you and I are long gone, and I guarantee it's going to deter someone out there from going to prison. And that's my mission right there. If I can just deter one kid, then I'm good.
Right. Yeah, so kids, listen, please, and as my mom used to say, think, and then when you're done thinking. Think again.
Yes, I love that quote. That's my favorite quote in a long time, man.